Welcome to the Dispatch. You are listening to a primer on Jammu and Kashmir. In episode 22, we talk about the agitation of 1931 that changed the political discourse for decades to come.
By 1931, Jammu and Kashmir had entered a new and more complex phase of its modern history. The state that Maharaja Hari Singh governed was changing rapidly. Education had expanded, the press had taken root, and the political climate of British India was reshaping expectations even in regions that had long remained outside organized politics. What occurred in 1931 was not an isolated eruption, but the culmination of a gradual shift in social awareness, administrative demands, and the new vocabulary of rights circulating across the subcontinent. Through the 1920s, a small but articulate educated class had emerged in the valley and in Jammu. Clerks, teachers, shopkeepers, students. Many of them deeply influenced by newspapers from Lahore, Delhi, and Punjab. They followed debates about civil liberties, representative government, and economic justice. Within the state, Muslims, forming the majority population, were increasingly conscious of their limited presence in education, administration, and the professions. These concerns were expressed not through agitation, but through petitions, associations, and public representations, all seeking greater access and fairer opportunities. The rise of Urdu journalism played a significant role. Newspapers carried coverage of reforms in British India, published commentaries on education, and occasionally reported on grievances in the state. Public meetings, though modest in scale, were becoming more frequent. The political climate was shifting from a traditional deferential relationship with authority to a more questioning engagement with the state structures. Several specific issues sharpened these sentiments in the late 1920s and early 1930s. Complaints over recruitment to government service, the pace of administrative reform, economic hardship among cultivators and artisans, and the limited progress in educational access were voiced with increasing clarity. These were socio-economic and administrative concerns, not yet the language of organized politics. But they formed the backdrop to a society now aware of change elsewhere and expecting change at home. Against this background, tensions escalated in early 1931. A series of grievances, including allegations of administrative arbitrariness and incidents involving religious sensitivities, contributed to public unrest. Each incident was local in origin, but together they reflected the buildup of broader frustrations. As meetings grew larger, the political vocabulary became sharper, influenced both by developments within the state and by the wider national movement. The events of July 1931 marked a turning point. A charged public gathering in Srinagar, followed by clashes outside the central jail, resulted in police firing and significant loss of life. The precise sequence of events has been recorded differently in various contemporary sources, but the immediate consequences were clear. Widespread public anger, further protests, and growing distrust between sections of the population and the state administration. Maharaja Hari Singh's government responded by appointing a commission of inquiry to investigate the causes of unrest. The commission included British officers and state officials, reflecting the seriousness with which the administration viewed the events. The government also introduced measures to restore order, regulate gatherings, and improve communication between officials and community representatives. At the same time, the agitation gave rise to new organizations and early political voices that would later shape the state's political landscape. The 1931 agitation did not arise from a single cause or community. It represented the convergence of administrative concerns, economic pressures, social inequalities, and the influence of broader Indian political currents. It marked the transition of Jammu and Kashmir from a paternal monarchical state to one where public opinion, however fragmented or newly formed, could no longer be dismissed. The events of that year would reshape the state's political vocabulary and set the stage for the organized politics of the years that followed.
Thanks for watching this episode of Primer on Jammu and Kashmir. Here is a quick note from the editors of the Dispatch. While dealing with historical events, we are conscious of the fact that history has no single view. In places like Jammu and Kashmir, this can be more complicated. While explaining the events of history through this primer, we are taking the best possible care to be objective and to offer context wherever views differ starkly. We welcome you to write to us and enrich the knowledge base on Jammu and Kashmir.